Welcome to this meeting of the MTA, of the Environmental Control Board. I think everyone should have gotten a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. If there's a motion to adopt, unless somebody has any corrections or whatever. Is there a motion? The minutes are adopted. Thank you. First up is quarterly review by Amy Slifka.
Okay, good morning, everyone. For those of you who are new to these meetings, and some of you are, the quarterly review is a report that sets forth the number of violations received by ECB, broken down by agency, and it's a quarterly comparison of violations received, violations heard, and decisions rendered. And then we look at the elapsed time from hearing to decision date, a look at decision results for each of the issuing agencies, and lastly, a look at the most commonly issued violations by agency, and also we look at how many cases are being appealed. So let's begin. Okay, so violations received by ECB. Okay. So for DSNY, you can see that there is a 26% increase from 93,071 in the third quarter to 117,525. For DOB, it's a 1% increase from 13,429 to 13,557. For DOT, it's a 2% increase, 7,277 to 7,404. FDNY, a 9% increase, 10,833 to 11,833. DEP, a 9% increase, 3,637 to 3,975. DOH&H, a significant increase, 54%, from 4,590 to 7,075. And Parks, that makes sense, from 740 to 2,310, a 22% increase, and 212% increase, that probably has to do with weather, nicer weather, more tickets are issued. NYPD, a 16% increase, 2,268 to 2,639. Do it, a 17% increase, 240 to 280. Pick a 75% increase from 4 to 7. And Landmarks a 15% increase from 54 to 62. So overall, it looks like there's been an increase in issuance from the third quarter of 2015 to the fourth quarter of 2015. So violations, violations received by ECB comparing the fiscal year 2014 with fiscal year 2015. So for DSNY, we have a 14% increase, 3,608,577 to 400,019,590. Having problems reading my numbers today. DOB, there's a 46,171 to 55,634. That's a 20% increase. FDNY, it's a 5% increase. DOT, it's a 1% increase, 33,843 to 34,266. Again, a 1% increase for DOH&H overall between fiscal year of 2014 and fiscal year of 2015. DEP, a 9% increase, 14,077 to 15,284. NYPD is a 35% decrease from 21,870 to 14,298. And for Parks, there's a decrease also, 7,272 to 6,569. For Do It, it's a 55% increase from 801 to 1,238. For Landmarks, it's a 71% increase, 120 to 205. And for BIC, it's a 43% decrease, actually, 84 to 48. And for agency code missing, it's a decrease. And for the miscellaneous, it's an increase. Overall, there's been an increase of 10% in issues and violations received between 2014 and 2015. Okay, total violations heard. So for DSNY, There's an increase of 1%, 66,614 to 67,571. For DOB, there's really no significant difference, as you can see, 44,654 to 44,551. For FDNY, there's a decrease in total violations heard, 22,789 to 19,853. For DPP, there was a 2% increase. For DOHMH, actually there's a decrease in violations heard from 15,685 to 14,186. NYPD, there's a decrease from 13,874 to 10,027, and that's a 28% decrease.
You know why is it?
Well, decrease in, first of all, there's been a decrease in issuance, you could see overall, and a decrease when we count violations heard. We also count adjournments, so it's probably far less adjournments too. We're working on having less adjournments. And plus you're having your guys there on Wednesdays results in less adjournments. Okay? So for DOT, there was a decrease also, 10,661 to 8,932. For parks, there was a decrease of 2,334 to 1,666. For DeWitt, there was a 40% decrease. For landmarks, there was an increase of 31%, 64 to 84. And for Vic, there was a decrease from 34 to 22, which is a 35% decrease. So overall, in hearings, in violations heard, there was a 5% decrease, 195,284 to 184,631. Okay. So for decisions rendered, so for DSNY, there's a 6% increase from 57,905 to 61,494. And for DOB, there was a 13% increase from 25,465 to 28,719. FDNY, there was a 5% decrease, 17,714 to 16,818. For DOHMH, again, a decrease of 9% from 13,566 to 12,378. NYPD, again, there's a decrease, 10,700 to 9,041, 16% decrease. DEP, there's an increase, actually, 7,669 to 8,660. DOT, a decrease, 6,880 to 6,756. Parks, there's a decrease of 1%. DeWitt, 581 to 550, again, a decrease of 5%. And for landmarks, there was an increase of 5%. And Vic, there was a decrease of 48%. Hearings and decisions, we're getting 91% of the decisions out in less than 10 days. And 98.6% in less than 20 days. Although you recently passed this change in the amendment where we can give out same-day decisions, we are offering same-day decisions. Interestingly enough, most of the respondents are not waiting around for their decisions. They'd rather get it in the mail, but the option is there for the clients. So decisions rendered after a hearing comparing fiscal year 2014 and fiscal year 2015. You can see that in 2014, 56.1% were found in violation. In 2015, 59.7% were found in violation. So it's pretty much staying around the same, 42.9% dismissed in 2014 and 39.6% dismissed in 2017. And there's been a slight decrease in people who are accepting stipulations prior to the hearings. So for sanitation, you have 41% in violation, 59% dismissed. For DOB, you have 80% in violation, 20% dismissed. For DOT, 62% in violation, 38% dismissed. FDNY, 91% in violation, 8% dismissed, and 1% is stipulated. DEP, 78% in violation, 13% dismissed, 9% is accepting stipulations. NYPD, 44% in violation, 56% dismissed. DOHMH, 60% in violation, 40% dismissed. Parks, 58% in violation, 42% dismissed. Do It, 56% in violation, 44% dismissed. Vic, well, 100% dismissed. Landmarks, 100% in violation. So, too many cases there. Most commonly issued violations for the second quarter 2015. For DOT, it's opening the street without a permit, failure to comply with the terms and conditions of the permit, and no raised plows, steel plates, or failed to countersink plates with roadway. For NYPD, it's standing in a bus stop or next to a hospital within 10 feet of a drive, subway, or crosswalk. Vendor on the sidewalk, less than 12-foot path, or failure to display license and/or plates. For DOB, it's unlawful acts, failure to comply with the commissioner's order. There are miscellaneous violations and work without a permit. DSNY, it's a dirty area, failure to clean 18 inches into the street, and again, dirty sidewalk, dirty area. For DEP, it's failure to submit your annual test backflow report, and it's failure to install a backflow preventer, and operating without renewing, or you have an expired operating certificate. FDNY, it's inspection and testing, failure fire protection system, unwarranted unnecessary alarm, and posting of permits, failure of posting permits. DOHMH, it's failure to eliminate rodent infestation, failure to eliminate conditions conducive to rodent revegetation, and failure to eliminate conditions conducive to testing with garbage cans and spillage. The landmarks, it's work without a certificate of approval. Yeah, again, it's different types of violations, work without a certificate. Again, they're all dealing with different features of the architecture. And again, failure to have a permit for your flag sign or banner. For Do It, it's failure to provide working public pay telephone, failure to maintain public pay telephone, and required signs missing. Does anybody still use a public pay telephone? But anyway. Parks, it's unauthorized vending, failure to comply with signs, and unauthorized consumption of alcohol. And for BIC, it's idling of motor vehicle over 3 minutes, and conducted business using unregistered name. So, and here's the appeals for the second quarter of 2015. You can see DSNY is 441, DOB is 339, and then fire is 74, Park 69, DOHMH 38, DOT 33, Do It 30, NYPD 8, and Parks is 3.
These are the respondents, you know.
These, no, I party. Correct. So, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Well, I have a question. I thought you were asking me that. On stipulation, it seems like really no one's taking steps. Do you know, or do you have any idea what might be causing people not to take steps?
I can't speak for your agency. What I think might be happening is they get the stip, but they have to comply within 75 days. Otherwise, the penalty goes back up. And I think some of them feel they can't. I'm just talking, but I think that's a hard thing to do in some of these instances, and comply within 75 days. So they're going for the so that's my thoughts. And there's one more thing. Total number of defaults, 78,270. DSNYs, most of the defaults, 76%, building 6%, and fire 5%. Thank you.
How's the subway?
Season pass.
Yeah.
Okay, good morning. This month, DEP has 26 requests for cease and desist orders for failing to install backflow prevention devices. Again, as every month, these are locations that have been served with commissioner's orders and notices of violation to install these devices, and that have failed to do so. Most of them defaulted on the violations. Some of them have been found in violation after hearing. So DEP is requesting, due to they continuing failure of these locations to comply with the commissioner's order asking the board to issue an order to cease and desist.
Is there a motion? It's unanimous with one abstention.
Thank you. And we also have 9 requests for cease and desist orders based on failure to renew operating certificates for boilers. These are situations where DEP's records continue to show these locations having expired operating certificates to use number 6 fuel oil, which was prohibited as of June 30th. In each of these cases, a notice of violation has been issued. The respondent has been adjudicated to be in violation, and as far as DEP's records indicate, there is still no paperwork been submitted or any other measures taken to convert from number 6 to a permitted fuel oil or natural gas. So in each of these 9 cases, DEP is asking the board to issue an order to cease and desist. I believe that one of them is the same buildings. There are 2 requests for one of the buildings because there are 2 separate installations in that building. I think it's 3400 Fort Independence Street.
There's a motion. Again, it's unanimous with one abstention.
Thank you.
That was quick. You could have phoned it in. Oh, that's important. Preceding.
Good morning. I'm Kelly Corso, Assistant Director Adjudications for the Environmental Control Board, and I'm presenting the C&D pre-sealing reports this morning. We have 15 reports for the board this morning. One of the reports is an air code case, and 14 of the reports all pertain to backflow violations. One of the backflow violation reports actually recommends sealing, so I will speak about that one last. I'm going to start with the air code case. This is a pretty simple case. The respondent got a violation for failure to have a valid operating permit for its boiler burner. And at the pre-sealing report, at the pre-sealing hearing, the respondent's representative provided proof that they had obtained the permit. And the boiler burner was now in compliance with the air code. So the hearing officer recommends in that case no further action, given the respondent's compliance. Any questions on that case? Okay, we have we have 14 backflow cases, as I had mentioned previously. 11 of them, the respondents established that they had installed and tested the backflow device at the site of premises. So the hearing officers recommended there be no sealing on those. And in the 12th backflow case, the hearing officer recommended that there be no sealing or other action because a recent DEP inspection revealed that the backflow prevention device was no longer necessary at the premises. And in the 13th backflow case, the hearing officer recommended that there be no sealing or other action because the respondent's representative was able to show that the site of premises had been sold to a third party. Any questions on any of those? Okay. The 14th backflow case contains a sealing recommendation from the hearing officer. So I'll give you a little summary of the background. The case commenced in 2019. I'm skipping quite forward. 2009, sorry. When DEP issued a commissioner's order for the respondent to install a backflow prevention device in their water service pipes at a grocery store in Brooklyn. When the respondent failed to comply, DEP issued a summons in November of 2009. The respondent failed to appear for the hearing in January of 2010, and they defaulted and they have not paid the penalty. In 2012, after reviewing their records and determining that the respondent had not yet complied, DEP requested that the board issue a C&D order. and a C&D order was issued in October of 2012. Now, over the next 2.5 years or so, the respondent's representative, his son, came in for a number of pre-sealing hearings. He kind of displayed a pattern of coming in, then not appearing, then calling and rescheduling and coming in again. Throughout those 2.5 years, he was not able to show that much progress was made, despite the hearing officers giving him very specific instructions on what he was expected to report for the next hearing. There was no work. He was not able to show that any work was done. He kept saying they had an architect and they didn't have an architect, things like that. So at the June 23rd, 2014 pre-sealing hearing, the hearing officer adjourned the hearing, and he specifically stated that the respondent was to provide a detailed schedule outlining the steps and timeline for completion of the installation of the device, and for someone to come with him that actually understood the issues and could explain the issues to the hearing officer. And the hearing officer told the respondent's son, who was representative at the hearing, that this was a final adjournment and that the respondent may face a water shutoff if the respondent did not comply with the hearing officer's order. At the last pre-sealing hearing on July 7th, 2015, the respondent's son appeared with someone. However, this person did not know the issues in the case or the status of the project, and no detailed schedule was produced. The hearing officer reported that neither of them seemed to know what still needed to be done or what the time frame would be for installing the device. DEP recommended sealing the water and water shutoff, noting that they had concluded that no other businesses or residences would be affected. And based on that, the hearing officer found that the respondent had failed to show any basis for not shutting off the water and sealing it, and recommended that the water be shut off and sealed.
Any questions?
What's the nature of the business?
Grocery store?
Is there a motion to accept the recommendation? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
And this is kind of quick. Is there a motion to go into executive session to review judicial issues? Unanimous. Thank you. For those folks who are not OPCD personnel, please leave until the executive session is over. Back in public session. Is there a motion to accept the recommended appeals decisions? It is unanimous. They are accepted. Is there a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned. Thank you.